Welcome to Kathy's Cooking. I want to invite you to come in, and when you come in, I want you to invite your followers and subscribe. And today, I want to show you how to make jack mackerel patties. Some like salmon patties. That salmon's a little fishy for me, but I like jack mackerel patties. So I'm going to show you that today, and I just want to start and just encourage somebody out there today that you can make it, because this is the day that the Lord has made, and we shall rejoice and be glad in it. I am so glad that you come to join me today in Kathy's Kitchen. So here we go. The first thing you want is to get your jack mackerel. You can get any brand you want. I got the Kroger's brand. And what you want to do first is you open it, and then you want to drain all of that juice off of it. See? It's in a lot of juice. And we want to drain all of that juice because we don't want soggy patties. And I want to do the same thing to the other can. And it depends on the size of your family, how many cans you want. I think one can serves about 3. So I have a big family, so I have to have 2 cans. So now that I've drained it, now I want to proceed by putting it in a pan. Let's move this juice out of the way. I will discard that. So now we want to put them in the pan, bowl. Pour them in whole because I'm going to show you why. Okay. Now, as you can see, there are some bones. So some people, these bones are really soft, and some people just crush them up. But I like to kind of rake them off. And as you can see, there is some black skin on it. I kind of leave mine because it adds a little bit more flavoring. But I don't really like the bones, so. That was a whole patty. So what I did was I opened it, and you can see those bones. So you just rake those bones out. And I'm going to proceed to rake them out of my other pieces. And like I said, you know, these bones are edible because they're really soft, and they will crush up nicely. My mom, she used to keep hers in there, and she would crush it up, and we would never know that those bones were being cooked in those salmon or in those mackerels. But my preference is to rake them out. And like I said, some people, they rake out skin off that black skin. But I like that skin. It gives a little more flavoring. So I leave it on. But I'm going to rake these bones off. Doesn't take long to get them off because they're very visible. And you can rake them in the can that they came in, and then just toss it. See how easily they come off? And I'm going to do that with the next can. You see, it doesn't take very long to get rid of those bones. So it's not a daunting task. It's just your personal preference. And mine is to get rid of them. And like I was saying, some people like salmon patties. It's just whatever you like. You can make them the same way. Instead of using mackerel, you can use salmon with this recipe. Almost there. And as I was saying, if you just come in, that you can leave the bones if you like. And they cook up nicely. They soften really well. But if you're like me and you don't want the bones, they come out so easily. Almost there. I think we just about got all the bones. And like I said, you can rake that black skim off if you want it off. It's your preference. I like mine on it. So I leave mine on. But you may like yours off. Okay, I think I've got all the bones. And we are ready to get started. Let me wash my hands. I'll be right back. And I'm tossing the can that I raked that in. Because I like less clutter when I'm cooking. It's a little hot in my kitchen today. So the next thing that we want to do, we want to begin to mix our mixture up. You want to crumble this up. Crumble up your jack mackerel or your salmon. Now that you have gotten the bones, and if you want the skin off, now you're ready to crumble it up. Nice and fluffy. And getting ready to add all of your ingredients to get ready to fry your jack mackerel. My mom used to make these when I was young. She would make these, and sometimes she would make the salmon patties. To me, back then, they all taste the same. But as I've gotten older, and what I'm doing now is I'm getting my oil ready, because you want it nice and hot. So I'm getting it ready for when I am done, I can throw on my patties. So I've got them nice and crumbled up, as you can see. See? Now I'm ready to start seasoning. Now, some people like to chop up fresh, but can you see? This is called Cajun style Mirepoix blend. It's got onions, celery, green peppers. I don't like chopping up all that, so I buy this in the frozen section. It's already soft enough to just mix in there. I don't have to saute it. So it's whatever your preference is. If you like fresh green peppers, if you like fresh onions, if you like fresh celery, you can do that too. But, you know, I want to go the easy route. Okay. So now what I want to do is I want to mix my celery, onions, and green peppers into my mixture. Just kind of take a fork and just kind of mix that together. And then I'm ready now to put my eggs in. So usually with one can, it's about 2 eggs. So I've had 2 cans. So what I'm going to do is mix 4 eggs in with mine, because I want that to really hold it together. Got a shell in there. Be careful, you don't want to get a shell in there. And if you want, you can go ahead and already be done cracked your eggs and blend them together. It's whatever you desire to do. So I mix my eggs in there, beat it up in my Jack Mackerel really well, because that's what's going to hold it together along with this next ingredient. So I've got it going now. My husband's walked in. Hi, honey. So I'm mixing it up. My eggs in there real well. As you can see. Mixing it up in there real well. Now I'm going to add my other ingredients to begin to give it flavor, more flavor, and that will help blend it together. Okay. Now, the next thing I want to add is I want to add Gavinder's all-purpose Greek seasoning. This is fantastic. My pastor turned me on to this, and I love it. So I'm going to put some of that in there, whatever for your taste. I'm going to add some garlic salt. Some people like garlic powder, but I'm not going to put regular salt, so I'm using garlic salt. You don't want to put salt, regular salt, and garlic salt. It'll be too salty. Now I'm adding ground pepper. Then I'm going to add onion powder. Just sprinkle it to however much you want. I like a lot of onion powder. And another thing that I'm using is Tony Chaser's Creole seasoning. I really love this too. It will really give it great flavors. So you sprinkle some of that, whatever your desire is. The next thing I want to add is Progresso's breadcrumbs and seasoning. This is going to not only bring seasoning, but it's going to help bind it together in that oil that I'm getting ready to put it in. Okay? They got different flavors. This is garlic and herbs, but they even got plain if you don't want no flavor. So you just put a generous amount in there, and you begin to stir in your mixture. Those breadcrumbs are going to help bring that together, help it stick together and not be too wet. As you can see, it's still kind of wet, so I'm going to add some more breadcrumbs because I don't want it too wet. So I added some more, and you go ahead on and you mix it up. It's looking good. Okay. Give me a few seconds. My kitchen is hot. I'm going to turn the fan on in here. There we go. Yeah, that feels much better. Get to moving around my kitchen. The air doesn't put out as much as it does everywhere else. So, I'm back. But anyway, I think I've got it mixed up pretty well. And, you can't worry about, your fingers being in it. This is for your family. It's love in these fingers getting ready to go into this mixture. So I want to make sure, turn this eye up. Because one of the keys that my mom used to say to frying these is making sure that your skillet is really hot. And I use a cast iron skillet. It just makes the food taste so much greater to me. So now that I've got it mixed up, what I have done now is I have a mixture. And in this mixture, as you can see, is meal and flour mixed. Some people use just flour, but I like meal and flour. Because I like to thin out my flour and because I don't really like that floury taste as much with the Jack Mackerel. So I did a mixture, okay? And you can add a little seasoning in it if you want. It's up to you. I'm just going to add a little bit of this Greek seasoning into my flour and my meal. Sometimes you can buy it pre-seasoned. And something else that you can also use to put in it. Where did I do with that? Not that. Maybe oh, here it is, I think. Okay. You can use the New Orleans style fish fry batter. And I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of that because it's already pre-seasoned. Mix it in there with it. Oh, it's going to really give it a good flavor. It's going to give it a great flavor. So I've got it all mixed in. Stir it up a little bit with a fork so that it's balanced out flavor-wise. Now I'm going to begin. That's still just a little wet. So I'm going to put just a little more. And it depends on how moist you want it. I don't like mine really moist like that. So I put a little bit more breadcrumbs in it. Take up some of that moisture. I think that did the trick. Yes, it did. Okay, gave it a little more dryness. So now you want to take your jack mackerel. And you start out with a ball, but you're going to press it into a patty. See? Press it into a patty. Then you're going to put it in your mixture. And you want to cover it really well. Then you want to kind of pat it in there with it. Make sure you got plenty on it. Then you want to pat it out. Make sure that it's sealed on the sides, like so. Then add a little more, because you want to get it really, it's going to help make it really crispy. So you want to make sure you got enough on there. So you want to start and put it in there. You hear that sizzle? It's sizzling. And you got to remember the egg and those breadcrumbs are really what's going to hold that together. Put your next one in there. Want to make sure you pat it really tight. Make sure your sides are sealed. And you want to lay your next one in there. And I think I want to add a little bit more breadcrumbs to mine. I feel some parts of it that are really still moist. And you can go ahead and use your hand because my hand has already been in it. So I'm just going to use my hand to stir this into it, to soak up some of that moisture. I don't really like mine really moist like that. Okay, I really think that done the trick this time. So I'm going to get my next patty. I'm going to put it in here. Get it really good and dusted. Your flour, your meal, whatever other seasons you put in here, drop it in the pan. Yeah. You're going to continue on and on with that. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and get all my patties done, and I'll be back and show you the finished product. As you can see, one toppled out, but this is the end result. They're nice and brown, see, on all sides. And I would recommend cooking them. Let's see how pretty they are? Pretty. I would recommend cooking them 2 minutes on each side. Flip them every 2 minutes for about 10 minutes. 8 to 10 minutes. It just depends on how brown you would like to have them. Now, you know what I'm going to have with mine tonight? Home fries and biscuits. And you can have what you want with it, but that's what we're having at Kathy's Kitchen tonight. Thank you for joining. I ask that you would subscribe to my channel. It's new. And I would like to be in the kitchen with you every week, cooking up some country cooking. God bless you. Bye.